Inglés, inglés, gracias.
Good morning, English channel.
Good morning, English channel.
You want me to speak English?
Tiens, ma sœur
1,
vient de
2,
m'envoyer ça,
3,
je sais pas si
4,
tu l'as vu,
5,
c'est
6.
très joli.
You're looking at me?
C'est un
You're looking at
super
me?
succès.
If you haven't received one of these, go out and see Mika in the entryway and she'll give you one.
Right, thanks. Sound. Mariana sounds good. All right, great. I'll come back to Paulo. I'll come back. Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. Pascal, sound, just to for you to hear. Just for you to hear. Sounds good. No, just to hear. Sounds good. Pablo? No, we already tried your microphone, so it sounds good. Okay, great, thanks.
Please take your seat. Please take your seat. Our program will begin shortly. As a courtesy to speakers and other delegates, please silence your devices at this time. Veuillez prendre place. La séance va commencer dans quelques instants. Par respect pour les intervenants et les autres délégués, veuillez couper le son de vos téléphones portables. Por favor, tomen asiento. Pronto comenzaremos con nuestro programa. Por cortesía hacia los oradores y los demás delegados, rogamos que, en este momento, silencien sus dispositivos.
Daily housekeeping announcements. Welcome to the 55th session of the Codex Committee on Food Hygiene in Nashville, Tennessee. To make this session of the committee run smoothly, we have the following recommendations. Badges. Delegates are requested to kindly wear their name badges during CCFH55. This includes at plenary, side events, and breaks. Interpretation. Simultaneous interpretation in English, French, and Spanish will be available throughout the meeting. Please make sure to listen to the language in which you will speak, English, French, or Spanish, as this will facilitate interpretation. Interpretation sets. Please ensure that your receivers are powered on, facing up, and away from your mobile devices. This will optimize the audio and reduce interference. Interventions. As this is a hybrid meeting of the CCFH, the chair will recognize the heads of delegation from members and observers present in the plenary room and on the Zoom when making interventions. Interventions will be taken in order of requests. Members will be given the floor first, followed by observers. For delegates following on Zoom, please use the raise hand function to indicate your request to intervene. How to microphones. When you would like to speak, push the Request to Talk button on your microphone. Your microphone will light up green and your delegation will be added to the intervention queue. When it is your turn to speak, the chairperson will recognize your delegation and your microphone will light up red. When you have completed your remarks, the chairperson will deactivate your microphone. Intervention tips. Keep your microphone on mute until the chair recognizes you. Please keep your interventions to 2 minutes maximum. And most importantly, speak slowly. Working documents. All working documents and reports for the meeting may be found on the CCFH55 meeting page on the Codex website. This includes all the agenda item papers as well as any conference room documents, CRDs, that may be issued. We encourage you to check the website often throughout the week to stay up to date on any new documents that may be issued. The session will begin shortly. Once again, thank you for joining us at CCFH 55.
Good morning, delegates. Good morning. Good morning. Hope we've all had a great week in Nashville, and you took the opportunity for some sightseeing yesterday. Before we begin report adoption, I'd like to recognize a distinguished member of the CCFH family. I was made to understand that he's retiring, and this will be his last CCFH meeting. Sincere appreciation to Chris for his leadership, commitment, and contributions to the work of CCFH. Chris has been an asset to this committee, and we want to wish him all the best in his future adventures after retirement. Thank you, Chris. EU.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for this kind word. I was not aware that you had distributed this especially for me. But no, it was a pleasure for me to work with this committee. I found it a very interesting part of my job, negotiating with the rest of the world, not looking from the EU perspective, but try to understand also why other parts of the world look at some things a little bit different and find compromises. I really, as you already did in the beginning of this plenary, I really recommend everybody to be chair or co-chair and learn from this process. I'm of course very pleased that I could end with finalization of the water document, and I wish you and this committee a lot of luck in the next years. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Congratulations again. Okay, so we will begin with a report adoption, starting with the introduction. So before we begin, of what was said during the meeting, and if you have any comments on translation or edits, please send it directly to the Codex Secretariat. We will not be reopening any discussion during adoption of the report. Thank you. So with that, we will begin with the introduction, paragraph 1. Seeing no flags, we go to opening, paragraphs 2, 3, and 4. Moving on to paragraph 5. Seeing no flags, we go to paragraph 6. Moving on to paragraph 7. Moving on to paragraph 8. Seeing no flags, we go to paragraph 9, looking at Roman 1, 2, and 3. Seeing no flags, we continue with our review. We finish with paragraph 9 on the matters for action, and then we go to paragraph 10 and the 3 bullets under that paragraph. Seeing no flags, we continue with our review. The last sentence under that paragraph, and then we do paragraph 11. Seeing no flags, we go to the paragraphs on the conclusion, looking at paragraphs 12 and 13. Moving on to paragraph 14, United States.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good morning to everyone. We would like to make an insertion into the last sentence in paragraph 14. So that sentence would read, the Codex Secretariat further noted that CCFFP would need to be part of the work regardless of which committee would carry out the work, and the rest of the sentence remains as is. Thank you.
Thank you, United States. Any additional comments on that paragraph? Seeing no flags, we will continue to paragraph 15. We will look at paragraphs 15 and 16 together. Seeing no flags, we move to paragraph 17. We continue with our review. We go to paragraphs 18, 19, and 20. Seeing no flags, we continue with our review. Paragraphs 21 and 22. Seeing no flags, we continue to paragraph 23. Ghana.
Thank you, Madam. Paragraph 23, IV, the first line. We propose that the word innovated is changed to innovative approaches, so that you could recall the importance of using the most up-to-date tools and innovative approaches. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Ghana. Any additional comments on paragraph 23, Roman 1 through 5? Seeing no additional flags, we continue with our review, looking at paragraphs 24 and 25. We continue with our review, looking at paragraphs 26 and 27. Moving on to paragraph 28. Seeing no flags, we continue to paragraph 29. Moving on to paragraph 30. Seeing no flags, we continue to paragraph 31. Paragraph 32. Seeing no flags, we continue to paragraphs 33 and 34. We continue with our review. Paragraphs 35 and 36. We continue to paragraph 37. New Zealand.
Yes, good morning, Madam Chair and everyone. Given that we've specifically talked about deletion of examples in the rest of the report, we would like to suggest that after footnote, we add the words as an example. and then modify the end of that sentence to say, on the source of the baseline ingredient water. Thank you. Sorry, that should be, yes, of the base ingredient water.
Does that capture New Zealand? Thank you. If no additional edits or comments on paragraph 37, we continue to 38. Moving on to paragraph 39. I don't see any flags, so we continue to paragraph 40. So let's look at paragraphs 40, 41, and 42. Moving on to paragraph 43. Seeing no flags, we continue to paragraph 44. So moving on to paragraphs 45, 46, and 47. We continue to paragraph 48. Continuing to paragraph 49. Continuing to paragraphs 50 and 51. Moving on to paragraph 52. Paragraph 53. We continue to paragraph 54. Moving on to paragraph 55, Roman 1 and 2 under that paragraph. We continue reviewing paragraph 55, Roman 3, 4, and 5. Seeing no flags.
Nadie desea hacer uso de la palabra. Vamos a proceder a examinar el párrafo 56.
So let's go back to paragraph 56. Spanish was coming through channel 1, which is English channel. If no comments on paragraph 56, we go to paragraph 57. Seeing no flags, we go to paragraph 58. We continue to paragraph 59. Moving on to paragraph 60. Seeing no flags, we continue to paragraphs 61, 62, and 63. Seeing no flags, we continue with our review. Moving on to paragraph 64. Moving on to paragraph 65 and 66. So we look at paragraphs 65, 66, and 67 together. Seeing no flags, we continue to paragraph 68, 69, and 70. Okay, so just a reminder that so far we've adopted up to paragraph 70. So we continue with a review. Paragraph 71. Moving on to paragraph 72, Roman 1, 2, and 3. Seeing no flags, paragraph 71 and 72 have been adopted. And we move on to paragraphs 73 and 74. So seeing no flags, we continue with our review. Looking at paragraph 75 and 76. Seeing no flags, we continue to paragraph 77 and 78. EU, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In paragraph 77,
And in the fourth line, second part of fourth line, and it was requested that there should be flexibility. We would suggest to include the word should. Thank you.
Thank you, EU. If no additional edits or comments on paragraph 77, I will state that we've adopted that paragraph with the change that has been made. And we continue to paragraph 78. Seeing no flags, we continue to paragraph 79 and 80. We continue to paragraph 81. Moving on to paragraph 82. Moving on to paragraph 83. Moving on to paragraphs 84 and 85. Moving on to paragraphs 86, 87, and 88. Okay. So we move to paragraph 89. So under paragraph 89, we have Roman 1. No comments on that. We go to Roman 2 and 3. Thank you. Just to remind everyone that we've adopted the report on the agenda item number 7. So we will go to agenda item number 8. Moving on to paragraph 90. So we'll look at paragraphs 90, 91, and 92. United States.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In paragraph 91, in the second line, we would like to modify it so that it reads risk profiles of free range and delete the comma, and then the sentence reads on as appropriate. Thank you.
Thank you, United States. If no additional comments on paragraph 91, we adopt paragraph 90, 91, and 92, including the change in 91, and we continue with a review, paragraphs 93 and 94. Seeing no flags, we go to paragraphs 95 and 96. We continue to paragraph 97. Continuing to paragraph 98. Seeing no flags, we go to paragraph 99. Seeing no flags, we continue with our review. The rest of paragraph 99, where it starts with both Campylobacter species. Seeing no flags, we go to paragraph 100. Continuing to paragraph 101. So we look at paragraphs 101, 102, and 103. Seeing no flags, we continue with our review. Paragraph 104, Brazil.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everyone. We believe that paragraph 104, it's a little bit confused. We want to suggest a new proposal. One member noted that handling of birds can induce stress and increase susceptibility to infection, and that partial depopulation may also heighten the likelihood of introducing infection. Therefore, when partial depopulation is carried out in a sequential manner, it should be implemented as early as possible. Conversely, when partial depopulation cannot be conducted sequentially for any reason, it should be performed at a later stage, prioritizing the complete depopulation of other chicken houses and any further handling of the remaining flock should be managed to minimize stress and to reduce the risk of cross-contamination of pathogen transfer from partially depopulated birds. Thank you.
Thank you, Brazil. New Zealand.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just with respect to Brazil's intervention here, we're just considering whether we recall hearing the conversation in that manner, but I'll come back to that. We were going to have an intervention that just changed the first sentence and stated in the first line after depopulation of a chicken house, and then after the comma, other houses scheduled for, and total depopulation, and then replace the word promptly with first. That was the wording we recall from the conversation, but we'll just consider the Brazil's intervention for a bit longer. Thank you.
New Zealand, does that capture your intervention? Thank you. Are there additional comments on paragraph 104? So before I go to Brazil, I would like to draw your attention, delegates, that on paragraph 104, we do have two suggestions. So the first text that we had on 104 and what Brazil proposed. So I will give Brazil the floor to clarify that they're recommending this new paragraph to replace what we had in 104 originally.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We are happy with the New Zealand intervention. So now I believe that it's more clear, and we can support this modification and delete our new suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you, Brazil, and thank you, New Zealand, for that intervention. So we've adopted up to paragraph 104 with the intervention from Brazil. And sorry, New Zealand. Thank you, Brazil, for endorsing that. And we go to paragraph 105 and 106. New Zealand.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have a significant suggestion for a change to 105, which I'll read out, and I'm sorry I haven't provided it. It starts, CCFH55 did not agree that there was evidence that partial depopulation increases the risk of development. Of immunosuppressive conditions, comma, however, did agree that partial depopulation increases the risk of introducing infection. And then the remaining paragraph as it stands. Oh, sorry, you have to delete then the EWPWG. I'm just trying to see where it fits in again now. And further clarified.
Nigeria.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm looking at paragraph 106 and looking at the footnote that is there. It says, considering the partial depopulation increases the risk of infection, it is advisable to complete the depopulation of these birds and the population of flocks that are less likely to be infected. I think it should read most likely to be infected. Because if you're saying less likely to be infected,
why are you not going to be depopulating them? Because they're not likely to be infected. Because it's actually the ones that are most likely to be infected that should actually be depopulated as a result of risk of infection. So I'm proposing that that less likely should be changed to most likely. Thank you.
So Nigeria, thank you for that, but we are still on paragraph 105. So be patient with us, please. New Zealand.
Thank you, Chair. The modification as it stands now is what we were intending. Thank you.
Thank you, New Zealand. So just going back to paragraph 105, I will recommend that we begin the paragraph with the EWG/PWG chair because it relates to paragraph 104, and then for New Zealand's intervention to be moved to the end of that paragraph or beginning of 106. New Zealand.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We'll leave that to the EWPW Chair to see if they agree with that. We'll be happy either way. Over.
It could also be 105 bis or 106 bis, a separate paragraph. So let's consider that too. So going back to paragraph 105, do we agree with the suggestion 105 on 105 bis. Thank you. I see thumbs up. So the paragraph is adopted with that change. So moving on to paragraph 106, and to address the comment from Nigeria. I think if you look at the paragraph closely again, it makes sense, and that's what was discussed. Kenya?
Chair, we agree that is the discussion, but just if we could improve the sentence by adding at the end, towards the end, flocks that are less likely to be infected.
Thank you, Kenya. If no additional edits or comments, we'll make that note, and the change will also be made to the related appendix. United States?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We don't disagree that the suggested language may be more grammatically correct and easier to read, but a clarification as to whether at this point on report adoption, if we're allowed to change text that was agreed upon in plenary. Thank you.
Thank you, United States. So what we're doing is just an editorial change for clarity, not making any changes to the discussion that occurred at plenary. Thank you. So again, whatever edits we're making to the paragraphs is just for clarity, and no substantive discussion at this time. So if no additional edits, we will adopt paragraph 106 and continue to paragraph 107. Continuing to paragraph 108. Seeing no flags, we have concluded with adoption of agenda item number 8, and we go to agenda item 9, looking at paragraph 109. Moving on to paragraph 110. Thailand.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just have some editorial comment for the heading of this agenda item. I believe the code for the Listeria monocytogenes is CXG61, and then the CXG78, maybe that should be deleted. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Thailand. So moving on to paragraph 111. Signal flags, we go to paragraphs 112 and 113. Signal flags, we go to paragraph 114. Looking at paragraphs 114, 115, and 116. Signal flags, we continue with our review. So we go to paragraph 117. So we look at paragraphs 117, 118, and 119. Morocco, did you have a comment?
Thank you, Chair. With regard to the drafting in French that we have here, we say in paragraph 116, the 55th section of CCFH has agreed to increase the refrigeration temperature from 6 to 5. It's not an increase, it's a reduction, so that should be fixed in French.
Thank you, Morocco. Could you please send an email to codex@fao.org? Thank you. So we're looking at paragraphs 117, 118, and 119. Seeing no flags, we continue to paragraph 120. Looking at paragraphs 120, 121, and 122. Japan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning to everybody. We thank the Codex Secretariat for fully capturing the gist of our intervention during the plenary, but we would like to propose add just a few words around the term the hygiene control programs on the fourth line in the English version. This is because the current text would read like the FBOs of non-RTE food don't have to implement any kind of food hygiene control. So therefore, we'd like to propose the following text. I will start from the end of the third line. FBOs producing non-RTE food, who might be required to implement the same level of hygiene control programs as RTE food, and the remaining stays as is. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Japan. If no additional comments on paragraph 20, I propose we adopt the paragraph with the suggested changes from Japan. So Japan, just for clarity, we are discussing at the top table to include as FBOs producing to what you suggested. Thank you, Japan. I see you nodding. So if no additional comments or edits to that paragraph, I propose that we, United States.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is not on 120. I couldn't remember if we were doing 121 at the same time or not. In 121, could we add the word food in front of hygiene text at the end of the sentence? Thank you.
Thank you, United States. So looking at both paragraphs 20 and 21, if there are no additional edits or comments, I propose that we adopt those two paragraphs, including the suggested edits. Thank you. So we continue with our review, paragraphs 122 and 123. Seeing no flags, we continue to paragraph 124. We're looking at paragraphs 124, 125, and 126. Seeing no flags, we continue to paragraph 127. Seeing no flags, we continue. Paragraph 128. We continue to paragraph 129. We continue to paragraph 130 and 131. We continue to paragraph 132. Looking at paragraphs 132 and 133 together. EU.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In paragraph 133, second sentence, we would like to suggest to change the was for is to a present. So process control testing is undertaken. Then we have another comments to the last sentence. However, it was acknowledged that competent authorities conducting periodic testing. And then later on, we would like to testing and analysis remains. So we would like to put it again in present mood, remains.
So EU, just to note that it was FAO reporting, so we want to revert back to WAS. Codex Secretariat, please.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. And I know this issue can be a little bit challenging, the tense to use here. In this sentence, we're using what we call reported speech because it states it was acknowledged. So even though it says was there, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the past, it's just reporting on what was said. So the earlier sentence is different, it's a statement, so without being reported speech as such. So I hope that helps clarify. Thank you. This comes up.
Thank you, Codex Secretariat. EU.
Thank you very much, Codex Secretary, for this explanation. We have a last comment to that paragraph. It's in the last, the very end of the last sentence. So in paragraphs 2 and 11, which covered testing by competent authorities. So we would like to delete the roles and the off. Yes.
Thank you, EU. Thank you. So if no additional edits on paragraph 133, I propose we adopt the paragraph with the edits and we continue with our review. So moving on to paragraphs 134 and 135. So looking at paragraphs 134, 135, and 136. Seeing no flags, we continue with our review. Moving on to paragraph 137 and the first part of 138. Seeing no flags, we continue. Completing paragraph 138. And then we move to paragraphs 139, 140, and 141. Seeing no flags, we continue with our review to paragraph 142. Seeing no flags, we continue to paragraph 143, Roman 1, 2, and 3. If no comments, that brings us to the end of agenda item number 9. So we've adopted that agenda item and we continue to agenda item number 10, looking at paragraphs 144, 145, and 146. Seeing no flags, we continue with our review. So looking at paragraph 147 and the 3 bullets on the screen. Seeing no flags, we continue with paragraph 148 and 149. Seeing no flags, we continue with review. Looking at paragraph 150. Seeing no flags, we continue with our review. And to scroll down to paragraph 151 and 152. Seeing no flags, we continue to paragraph 153. Looking at paragraphs 153 and 154, EU.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In paragraph 153, we would like to suggest to split the last sentence into two to make a difference between the two parts. So we would like to suggest concerns were also raised about the potential claims for this product, dot. And then we would like to suggest to start the remaining sentence, members called for the establishment of risk analysis framework for new food production system, and we would like to suggest to change the before for rather than. And the last in that sentence, developing product-specific standards. So we would suggest to delete the hygiene.
Thank you, EU.
Thank you.
So before we take the United States, so we're referring to the members that were expressing concerns, EU. Not all members. So, but let's hear from the United States.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That was our comment as well. Where you have inserted these members, we were going to suggest some members. Thank you.
Thank you, United States. So if the edits to paragraph 153 are okay, as we see on the screen, I will propose that we adopt the paragraph and continue with the changes and continue with our review. EU?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We understood, based on the comments just made by the United States, that these members should be changed to some members, because it's not clear that after the previous sentence, these members refer to what exactly?
So our proposal is to move concerns to the end of the sentence and then just add "and" to the end of that second sentence, since it's still referring to these members. So I'll go to the United States.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We still think the word "some members" would be most accurate as opposed to "these members." Not all the members that express concerns over the work expressed the same concerns, and not all of them expressed the preference to have a risk analysis framework before developing a code of practice. So we think that that sentence should start with "some" to be most accurate to the conversation in plenary. Thank you.
Thank you, United States. Thank you, New Zealand. I see your flag was up, but you put it down and you gave me a thumbs up, so thank you. Are we okay with the edits on 153? Thank you. So that paragraph will be adopted with the changes. So we move to paragraph 154. So I want to call your attention to the small editorial change at the end of paragraph 153, and we have it as "these products." Thank you. So that paragraph is adopted with the changes. So moving on to paragraph 154. I see no flags. We go to paragraph 155. Roman 1, 2, 3, and 4. Kenya?
Thank you, Chair. Just Roman 2. Would it not improve when we add, instead of "were" at the end of that sentence, we indicate that guidelines are developed instead of "were" developed?
So again, this is the FAO guidance on reported speech. So we will keep the where it doesn't. Thank you, Kenya. So we continue with our review. We go to paragraph 156. So we look at paragraphs 156 and 157. If no comments, we go to paragraph 158. Looking at paragraphs 158 and 159. Seeing no flags, we go to paragraph 160, Roman 1 and 2. Moving on to paragraph 161. Looking at paragraphs 161 and 162. Seeing no flags, we continue to paragraph 163 and 164. EU.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A very minor comment in paragraph 164. At the end of the first line, it should be this product or these products. Thank you.
Thank you, EU. If no additional comments, the paragraph is adopted with the minor edit, and we continue with a review. Moving on to paragraphs 165 and 166. Seeing no flags, we continue to paragraph 1, United States, please. So United States, I think it's on paragraph 167. Thank you. So we move on to paragraph 167, Roman 1, 2, and 3, United States.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the second bullet there, we would like to amend that to read, update the existing risk assessment and scientific advice on environmental pathogens, bracket, EG, Chronobacter, and Salmonella, close bracket. This is to reflect part of the discussion with our experts that also brought up other environmental pathogens for which we wanted a review on as well. Thank you.
Thank you, United States. Any additional comments or edits on paragraph 167? Seeing none, I propose we adopt that paragraph with the proposed change, and we continue to paragraph 168. Seeing no flags, we continue to paragraph 169. So moving on to paragraph 170. Roman 123, United States.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For Roman 2, to be consistent with some of the other language in the report, we would request that as opposed to listing the 1st of September 2026, that it be reflected 3 months prior to the session. Thank you.
So for CL, I think it's been discussed and long established that 1 September be kept as the date and a deadline to submit issues to the Secretariat. So I'm going to ask if the committee wants to change that to 3 months prior, since it was not discussed and 1 September had been long established. So it's up to the committee. So the floor is open. Now that we have the dates for the next session. Morocco.
Thank you, Chair. We support the proposition of having 3 months before instead of setting a date, because the next session is in November. So we would like to have this 3-month deadline. Thank you.
Thank you, Morocco. CCFH Secretariat.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just wanted to say that from a Secretariat standpoint, we would probably prefer to keep the September 1 deadline simply because it's an easy deadline for delegates to remember. And of course, there's always a little bit of flexibility if additional days are needed, but we would prefer to keep the text as it is in the current report. Thanks.
Thank you, CCFH Secretariat. So since we don't have an agreement, I'm going to propose that we keep the date as is, September 1 September, and members can always submit new work proposals early, and we will have this as a discussion at the next CCFH meeting, which will be CCFH 56. Thank you. And of course, the PWG chair can ensure that it's in the proposal. So any additional comments? Seeing none, that brings us to the end of agenda item number 10. So if no additional comments, that agenda item has been adopted. And we move to paragraph 171. So if no comments on paragraph 171, that agenda item number 11 is also adopted, and we move to the appendices. So we're not going to go through Appendix 1 because it is the list of participants, but we do request that you take a look at it, and if you have any edits, you forward them to the Codex Secretariat no later than a Monday, December 22nd. Thank you. So we will go beginning with Appendix 2. So for the appendices, we're going to go page by page, beginning with Appendix 2. So that's page 1. And we go to page 2. Any comments on Appendix 2? Seeing no flags, Appendix 2 is adopted, and we move on to Appendix 3. So under Appendix 3, we're looking at Annex 2 of the guidelines for the safe use and reuse of water in food production and processing, fish and fishery products. So are there any comments on Annex 2? And I'll just give you time and we scroll through that. We're all super fast readers. Let's keep going. So going to Annex 4 of the guidelines for the safe use and reuse of water in food production and processing. We're looking at water fit for purpose assessment, safety management, and technologies for recovery and treatment of water for reuse. So we're going to just go over that too. Let us know if you have any comments or edits. Thank you. So Appendix 3 has been adopted. Thank you. We continue with Appendix 4, and that's amendments to the guidelines for the safe use and reuse of water in food production and processing. So just to note that there was an error and we've made the correct change to refer to the right section of Annex 4. No more comments. Appendix 4 has been adopted. We continue to Appendix 5. And that's amendments to CXG 85-2014, CXG 86-2015, and CXG 88-2016 for alignment with CXC 1. We continue to scroll. So just to note that for CXC 86, we've incorporated the changes related to war. And then I'll go to United States.
Thank you, Chair. Can you scroll to section 6, the definitions? We were a bit unclear on the alignment.
So United States, just to be clear what text you're referring to, is it what you have on the screen?
The one on screen, yes.
Thank you.
But this is applicable to all three texts that were in the alignment annex or appendix. We were unclear the reference statement for alignment that should appear underneath the definition subheader, referring back to definitions in the general principles together with the following. There's no statement on this one, and there is some variations of statements in the other ones. So our question was, what is the aligned standardized text that should appear underneath the definition header when there are additional definitions in the document? Thank you.
Thank you, United States. Give us a minute, please. Thank you. Codex Secretariat, please.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Our understanding here relates back to what was the original content of these texts. And while for the general guidelines for foodborne parasites, it was clear that they wanted to make a cross-reference to the definitions of the general principles of food hygiene, in the case of those dealing with specific parasites, this was not the case. So I think in that case, it would be considered that the cross-reference would be considered a technical addition and hence not part of the alignment. So this is why it was not introduced here. So yes, it does mean a difference, but it was going beyond, my understanding is in the views of the alignment group, it was going beyond structural alignment as it would be a technical change to those two texts, since that was not considered in their original preparation. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Codex Secretariat. So if no, so if there's a future revision of this text, this is something we will be looking at. But for now, we will continue with our review. Then we go to Part C, aligning the text on parasites. United States.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Can you go to the definition section of this document? Point of clarification, just as we get to future text for alignment, is this the statement that was presented by alignment for use in definition sections when intending to refer back to the general principles of food hygiene?
EWG Chair, please.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. I think in our previous introduction to these, to our alignment approach, in the section of definition, it is not a horizontal approach to insert the text of a general referencing for the general principle of food hygiene in this section. So, in light of this, for the in future, when we're doing the similar approach for this section, I think these agreed text in these standards can be our proposed text for the structural alignment specifically to this section, Section 6 definition. Thank you, Madam Chairperson.
Thank you, EWG Chair. If that is suitable, I think that brings us to the end of Annex 5, Appendix 5, excuse me. So we continue with Appendix 6. And that's the revised guidelines for the control of Campylobacter and Salmonella in chicken meat. So I want to call your attention to D, and as we just discussed during report adoption, we've added that to D to be consistent. And I'll go to Peru. Peru, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. I would like to underscore that in this work we are referring to sodium, and in this regard, there is a mistake in the translation vis-a-vis the Spanish translation. This is based on the documents which we have reviewed over the various sessions.
Please send the edit to the Codex Secretariat at codex@afu.org. And we go to the EU.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On page 3 of the document, the third paragraph, yes, here, in the middle of that paragraph, after Salmonella and Campylobacter, yes, thank you. Then on page 4, by the definitions for water fit for purpose, there is water fit for purpose, so the water at the end should be deleted. And then on page 7, in the specific flock management control measures for Salmonella, in bullet A, the last part of the suitable, and in bullet B, where possible, breeder flocks. And then we have a very minor last comment on page 14. In the table, there is the bullet empty. Thank you very much.
Thank you, EU. Any additional edits or comments on Appendix 6? Seeing no flags, Appendix 6 has been adopted, and we continue with our review. Moving on to Appendix 7, which is the revised guidelines on the application of general principles of food hygiene to the control of Listeria monocytogenes in foods. We do have a few changes that we will bring to your attention. So, Codex Secretariat, please.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. So, thanks to all the people who've closely read this document, we found a few additional changes that we've inserted for clarity. These are very editorial in nature. The first of these is at the end of page 1 on paragraph 4, where we've just introduced food business operators in full, as this is the first time we talk about FBOs, and as a result, we've deleted food business operators from paragraph 5. So this was just to ensure that we spelt it out in full the first time we mentioned food business operators. Then we found a number of places where we still had extra references to the general principles of food hygiene, and these start at paragraph 94. So here in paragraphs 94, 95, 96, and then in 104 and 112, we've removed the additional references to the general principles of food hygiene, noting that we'd include an overarching reference at the beginning of the section. So rather than having it under section 13.3, for example, it's already included under section 13. And as we agreed during the discussion, we would not have these additional cross-references as a result. And then there's also, I think as we go to Annex 3, there's just a couple of editorial things here. There was the bullet at the end of paragraph 14 was part of the next paragraph, so we have moved it back up to be part of a bullet as it should be. And then if you just scroll down another bit, I think there was an errant "and" somewhere. That's also been deleted and put in the correct place. So the "and" was at the end of the list of bullets rather than between the second last bullet and the last bullet, and that has also been addressed. So with those changes, I think, Madam Chair, this document is for adoption. Thank you.
Thank you, Codex Secretariat, United States.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for reviewing those editorial changes. We had two additional changes. One is in the last paragraph of the Annex 3. And in the second line of paragraph 35, it says reasonability. It should be reasonably. And then our other comment is all the way up in the beginning of the general section on the definitions. If possible, in the final document, we're concerned that the full footnote 7 is not appearing on one screen and you'd have to go to the bottom of the next screen to get it. Could we have it where it's all on the same screen? Thank you.
We'll make a note of that, United States. Thank you. If no additional comments or edits, I propose that we adopt Appendix 7 and we continue with our review. So to explain the additions in Appendix 8, I'm going to turn to the Codex Secretariat.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. And while we didn't get to discuss this in detail, we made a number of decisions that were pertinent to this table, and it's simply been updated to reflect those so we have the basis for this discussion next year. So as you will note in Part 1, it reflects that the new work items that were discussed were not specifically assigned a ranking number. It was simply noted that this was not applied. So that's noted in there. As we move down to Part 2, some additional information was just simply inserted to note the additional scientific advice that was available to us, as we heard from FAO and WHO, but did not necessarily have time to reflect on in this session. And additionally, under the alignment column, We just noted where we completed alignment, so the 3 texts where alignment was completed, and also just noted those 3 that were identified as priorities for 2026. So I think if you scroll down through it, you will see those 2 texts related to water and the one related to bulk transport are simply noted as priority for 2026. And then there is an additional section added which just captures the scientific advice requests that are reflected in other parts of the report. So we had 2 main areas where we had scientific advice discussions, and that's the safety of powdered infant formula and scientific advice regarding holding frozen temperature. And the information here is simply taken directly from the report just as a record. It's not anything generated. We have not included any timelines or anything because we didn't discuss those. And then the third one is related to the discussion we had under viruses, where the committee simply encouraged GEMRA to work on the tool. So it simply gathers the information in the report in this single table so that this is a basis for the PWG moving forward. So it's to note this information in one place. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Codex Secretariat. United States.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Codex Secretariat, for the updates and revisions to the tables. Our only request would be in the Part 3, if you scroll up just a little bit, thank you, that we update Roman 2 in the powdered infant formula to reflect the change that we made earlier in the report. So it should read, update the existing risk assessment and scientific advice on environmental pathogens, bracket, EG, Chronobacter, and Salmonella, close bracket. Thank you.
Thank you, United States. So with that, we've adopted the proposed changes to Appendix 8. So seeing no flags, I say congratulations. The CCFH55 report has been adopted. So, dear delegates, we have come to the end of CCFH 55. During my opening remarks, I reminded you that the last session of CCFH had asked for an extension to complete the annexes left for the guidelines for the safe use and reuse of water in food production and processing, and encouraged you to come to the discussion with a view towards finishing the annexes and to seek compromise where you could find it. I also said that you are all extremely competent, and I am sure we will deliver good work by the end of this session. This goal was not only accomplished, but we exceeded expectations. Thanks to the EWG and PWG chair and co-chairs for your leadership and making this happen. We did not only agree to forward these annexes to CAC 49 for final adoption, but have also been able to forward 2 additional guidelines for final adoption, both completed in 18 months. The control of Listeria monocytogenes in the processing environment continues to be a challenge, and listeriosis outbreak often result in very high fatality rates. It is my hope that once adopted at the Commission, competent authorities and food business operators will use the information to develop or update their own guidelines. The EWG and PWG chair and co-chairs also did a tremendous amount of work revising the guidelines for control of Campylobacter and Salmonella in chicken meat. Their hard work paid off, and there were consensus from this committee to also forward these guidelines to CAC 49 for final adoption. The Alignment EW chair and co-chairs did not only do an excellent job in aligning 3 food hygiene guidelines, but also provided a structure to guide the alignment of other food hygiene texts. To the EW chairs, I say thank you for your great work. The work on viruses will continue as we await the second scientific report from GEMRA. And we reinitiated the work on Vibrio. We were also successful in articulating several scientific advice requests to GEMRA, which will greatly enable a plan for future work. As chairperson, I'm truly humbled and thrilled to see that as a committee, we were able to complete the items outlined in our heavy agenda at CCFH55. This could not have happened without your commitment and cooperation. Sincere appreciation to my assistant and the Codex Secretariat, who have been my eyes, ears, and brains as we sat at the top table and beyond. To FAO and WHO colleagues, I say thank you for providing the scientific advice needed to support the work of this committee. To the CCFH Secretariat and US Codex Office, I say thank you for your assistance and the great welcome reception we had on Monday. To the translators and interpreters, your skills are beyond compare, and I thank you for connecting us all to each other this week. And to our meeting planner, coordinator Mika, and her production team for a smooth running of the show, I say thank you. After I conclude, I'll give the floor to CCFH Secretariat. And I'll conclude by wishing everyone a safe trip back home and happy holidays. See you all next year at CCFH 56. CCFH Secretariat.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And you did mention a lot of the individual groups, but we also wanted to show some faces and some names, specifically the production team that you don't even see. We have so many people here behind the curtains and behind the desks, and so we wanted to thank them. First, Wes and Stacy, who are not here with us, but they did all of the production organization, and Stacy did our beautiful graphics that we hope that you enjoyed with the guitar pick and the theme. But then we've got Daryl, who ran the screens back here, and Rob, who ran all of the sound, along with Peter, Paul, Damien, and Matt. So let's give them a round of applause. And we also have to thank Mika, our extraordinary meeting planner. Without any of this, it would not be possible, especially these clappers that helped us celebrate the report adoption in fashion. So Mika, thank you. So thanks, everyone, and safe travels home, and we will see you next November. I'm sorry, I forgot one slide. There are interpreters. We had the order mixed up. So yes, our interpretation team, led by the fabulous Pablo Chang. There he is. And we've got Wendy, Sharona, Mariana, Nicolas, Pascal, Bertold, Carlos, and Michael, the sound techs. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Now we can conclude. As
So thank you all and have a safe trip. So delegates, before you leave, would like to take a picture up at the front table. Yeah, so please come up for a picture. Thank you.